So this video is going to go over how to remove overlapping lines from AutoCAD. So what I have here is the same pieces of that doghouse that I showed in video number 5 and video number 6. So it's just the faces of this SketchUp model exported out. But I've moved them around and condensed them so that this way I can potentially save material and also get my file maybe done a little bit faster. Time isn't really what I'm too concerned about, but material could be because I either spent money on it or I just have a limited supply of it and I want to just save as much as possible. What I've done with the pieces is I've changed each face's color or each one of those export faces color so we can kind of see a little bit how overlapping lines could maybe be a problem. So I have faces sharing the same edge, but if I just take them from their bare bones of that export, what is going to happen is the laser is going to go over edges multiple times. So we have here this magenta edge, and the laser is going to go and travel and cut along that magenta edge. But if I click on that one and delete it, we can see then that this yellow edge is also hiding underneath it. So what's going to happen is if I undo, the laser is going to go and cut that magenta, but then it's also going to go back a second time and cut out that yellow edge because there's two edges sitting there. And with a lot of materials, that's going to pose a huge problem, especially things like corrugated cardboard and foam board, because if the laser's already gone through there, and then we have the laser focusing on that same area again, it could potentially start to kind of burn and smolder. And since we're watching the laser, it's not going to cause a huge commotion where the building burns down, but it is going to ruin our project. And that's also not an end result that we would like. So to get rid of overlapping edges, we're going to use a command called OVERKILL. So that is just typing in OVERKILL, and we can see it's here with this little sweep. And then what I'm going to do is just highlight everything in my entire project here in this condensed area and hit enter. And in this case, I'm going to have it ignore color purely because I changed the colors of things. And I'll say okay. And we can see that 2 duplicates were deleted and 21 overlapping objects or segments were deleted. So what happened here is where I had that yellow line and magenta line, and even then the yellow line continued down here and the cyan line also started here, is it went and got rid of any overlaps and just replaced them with whatever color was available. And then now there's only just one line segment here that's going to go cut. The same thing here was I had a red one and a green one sort of overlapping along with a yellow one over here overlapping. And so now it's all just one piece or one segment. So if I undo that, delete, I can then highlight everything here and just only have it have an object property of red so that all of these are recognized as cut lines. I'm just going to undo a couple more times just because typically you're not going to have a rainbow of colors in your design. These are all either just going to be in the default layer white, or you might have already set them to red. So that's totally fine. Then it just, when you run an overkill, and you select all of your objects, enter, you don't have to have it ignore color because they're all going to be the same color. It's still, then it's going to run that same process. And after you do an overkill, it's always just a good idea to look over your drawing and double check that everything there is in fact going to be the line that you want to keep. If you do have different color lines, so let's say I had some edges that I wanted etched and edges that I wanted cut, and maybe when I did have it ignore the color, it kept the blue line where I wanted a red line. Again, that's just something that you want to double check and look at things like that. So that's one way that you can have those overlapping lines removed and then condense your file so you can print out using less material.